Right. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Twitch edition of Last Newsdesk on the Left. I am your host, Mac Paladin, and it's oddly appropriate that I hear a cat scratching in a litter box immediately behind my head.
Oh, no.
Really,
I don't
Tippy?
think we'd have it any other way.
Oh, my God. All right.
Well, there's the recording. Goodbye, buddy.
Yep, that's it for the recording. Bye. All right, with me in the studio for our 14th episode, Adam.
All right, you done with your cat problem there?
Indeed. I'm just very verklempt right now, okay? Kevin's here.
Yeah, I'm here somehow.
Petty fans in the house.
Oh God, where am I?
Golix is the one making the phone call from the bedroom upstairs.
I'd love to say I was, but my house only has one floor.
And our new game buddy, Twilight Winter, is here.
Hello.
All right. I was sick this week, so I have no idea what the hell's going on in the world. Anybody want to enlighten me here?
So money is fake.
Oh. Okay.
And Robin Hood is actually screwing with people now in a bigger, badder way than ever.
I mean, Robin Hood was always screwing with people.
Well, yeah, but
the story's from his perspective, so it doesn't come off that way.
It's more like, before it was Robin Hood just doesn't seem to want to work every day, and now it's, oh my God, hedge funds are having to have billions of dollars in bailout money. Because that's how that works.
I heard about that. That was interesting.
So, forget
about
what's
deeper.
Go ahead.
To go a bit deeper into what's actually going on, some hedge funds were trying to short the GameStop stock, and
this is a thing where they basically sell GameStop stock at a price now to lower the price in return for agreeing somehow that they will buy it later.
Well, it's more like
stock makes sense.
It's more like seeing that something is, is abnormally priced high and trying to sell to bring it down the stock price up to manipulate. It's basically stock manipulation.
Right.
Yeah, selling short is a convoluted game that I think requires a slightly more nuanced explanation. That's why I'm going to Google for information. Basically, selling short. Okay, yeah.
To sell now.
Right. An investor borrows the security and sells it on the open market, planning to buy it back later for less money. They bet on and profit from a drop in a security's price. Short selling has a high risk to reward ratio. It can also offer big profits, but losses can mount quickly and infinitely.
So that
it's basically to buy.
Yeah.
It's basically buying so that the stock so that you profit when the stock drops, which completely makes no sense. Because when you think about buying into stocks, you're thinking that, you're buying into something that'll have value going forward. Here it's buying into something that you think will not have value going forward.
The weak link in things that should be able to be done here is the part where you borrow stock and then sell it before you actually have it.
Yeah.
Indeed. I'm actually getting a handy dandy little infographic to help out here. Continue. As soon as I learn how to manipulate
So basically,
OBS.
what has happened is that
Continue.
subreddit was created involving.
As soon as I learn how to manipulate
So basically, what
OBS.
has happened is that they fight back against it, and the way they're doing that is to basically buy stocks at whatever the price and drive the stock up. So basically, which completely undermines the concept of short selling, which is, as we said, to buy stock in order to bring the value lower. If you're buying stock to push the price up, that totally undermines the short selling process and those hedge funds and other professional investors involved in that business are having financial problems because of this.
So yeah, the important numbers here that I saw earlier are that they had, through short selling, driven the value down from $20 a share to $3 a share, and also that they had short sold significantly more stock than the company actually has.
Mm-hmm.
And
And of course,
that then by buying up the low stock, which when you buy stock, the price goes up because there's desire for it. I think it was, what is it, at the beginning of today, GameStop stock was up to $140 or something, and it's gone up since then.
I actually have the
I got some figures right here.
handy
So basically,
app on my
people were
phone here.
to be making $17 a share or so, and now they're losing, and now they're looking at losing $120 a share.
It basically was
which is bad.
to give you a good time here. On January 12th, GameStop was at $19.95 a share. It closed today at $347.51 a share. Today it went up 134%. 134.84%, meaning 135%.
There you go. We got a graphic now.
Mm-hmm.
Now apparently after hours it's come down, but it's only come down to $292.
Oh, only?
Again, only because again, on January 12th, this stock was at $19.95 a share, and it is now $292 after closing at $357.
Insanity.
So people are losing a lot of money per share if they were planning on shorting it.
Yes.
Well,
if
you see,
shorting,
right? If you're short selling it, you have to now buy the stock at the higher price. You now have to buy the stock.
Because you have a contract that said you had this stock to actually...
Right, so if you sold it at $100 a share expecting to sell it short, and now it's $292, you have a net loss of $192 a share.
Yes, and actually, I got something even better here for you. On January 4th, this stock was at $17.25. So in the course of the month, it's gone from $17 to over $300.
So while short selling does decrease the value of a stock, you usually do it to something that you think is going to go down anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Which GameStop was not. I mean, it's not doing well, but
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not. It's like you were shorting things down abnormally to a point where it's that low, to a low point to where one piece of bad news completely destroys the stock.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's I hate to say it, but it's a tale as old as time for a lot of companies, because a lot of companies probably dealt with this and didn't get the didn't get the benefit of Reddit and Robinhood.
Yeah, and to be clear, a lot of stock stuff, this kind of thing happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Deregulation.
And hopefully this actually, I mean, I honestly think the best case scenario here is that regulation comes through and like changes stuff, and hopefully falls on the side of, okay, we're going to have to do a thing about short selling, because the main other thing they could regulate here is private individuals trading stocks that aren't part of a fucking company, and if they try to do that, that's not a good look for the stock industry.
Yeah, there will be hearings.
That's what they want to do. They've been trying to shut down private individuals from trading shit.
Well, you know what? If you want a justification for it, in all honesty, this is it.
It's like the comic you posted said, and we're not going to put it up because I don't want a copyright issue with the author of the comic. But it's like they're only mad about it because the poors are doing it now.
Right. This is stuff that they do to each other all the time, and that's allegedly how it's supposed to work. That the healthy, smart, financially vigorous companies drive the flagging companies out of business, because that's efficient for capital or whatever the fuck.
I like you. I think it's really sexy when you use all of these capitalistic dog whistles.
But yeah, but it's not supposed to be able to be done by like the people.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
sorry,
I did. It was not my intention to make you uncomfortable with that. That was meant for comedy.
No, I figured that. I just don't know quite how to respond to it.
Yeah. Trading and selling stocks is supposed to be a professional business.
It
Supposed
just
to be for
inspires.
professionals.
It just inspires the libertarian in me.
Yeah, this is like, but it's suit, people in suits and ties, walking around, spending 11 hours a day at their computers or on a stock floor.
Mm.
Of course, people had no problem with it during the day trading boom.
Right.
Oh yeah. But
oh yeah.
When they were playing by quote unquote the rules.
Right, but it's like it's supposed to be a professional business. Instead, you have the normie coming in here and doing stuff like this.
The unwashed masses, the unclean.
Yes.
Well, and admittedly, some of it is that they do literally have a chip on their shoulder about hedge funds, which fair.
Yeah, but it's like this is not supposed to be a business for everyone. Stock trading and stock brokering and everything else is not meant for everyone. And now all of a sudden you have this new industry of normie traders here.
The rabble.
Brought to you by Reddit, and brought to you by specifically a subreddit that promoted itself as "What if 4chan crossed paths with a Bloomberg terminal?"
And according to Ted Cruz, this is why we need to repeal Section 230.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a better argument for repealing it than whatever Trump says.
Okay, Section 230 exists because of an investment firm.
They want to shut down the internets.
No,
Look, it's like
because in 1996, an investment firm managed to sue successfully Prodigy for something that, board members, like people who posted on Prodigy, what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the reaction to that.
Yeah. It's like, it's a stupid idea to bring up Section 230 here, but hey, it's a better reason to talk about Section 230 than, oh my god, I want to be able to say whatever the hell I want.
Also, wouldn't be the first stupid thing
No,
they did.
no, but, it's like...
No, Section 230 is going to get repealed.
I said that hyperbolically because I wanted to, point out that politicians have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, that's a given. I mean, when you've seen a lot of these statements, it's like even they don't know what the hell's going on. They can't, or maybe they do know what's going on, and they just can't fathom the fact that Reddit and Robinhood is causing chaos of this magnitude. It's like this is something that would have made the .com bubble burst even worse. Like, could you imagine if you had normie traders running around during the .com era when there was a .com stock starting up every 2 minutes?
And getting a lot of money, because it has .com in the name, and then a couple of months later collapsing when people realize, oh wait, they just put .com on a piece of paper. They didn't have an actual business plan.
Yes, and you wouldn't have that last part if you had Reddit and Robinhood running around, because you would still have people buying into said stock. So, I mean,
something else.
And of course we got to make this clear. It's not just GameStop that is benefiting from this. There are other companies too. AMC, the theater chain, is involved in this. There's some Bed Bath & Beyond.
After it started working with GameStop, they started looking for other stocks that were being shorted by ridiculous amounts.
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond is another one. What's it? BlackBerry, Nokia, and there's also another company that's gotten some ricochet off of this, and it's because of the fact that for some of these companies, it's basically because their stock ticker symbol is close to the ticker symbol that these Reddit people are trying to go for.
Oh my
the
God.
one where that thing where that other Zoom company started doing really well right around the start of the pandemic.
Yeah. Basically, they have the same kind of stock ticker symbol that's close to it when you
So,
type it in.
concussion
Those are the
bombing.
things. What? Yeah.
Concussion
Literally,
bombing,
it has
basically.
the same. Literally, it has the same name as the thing. Therefore,
Right. One of the companies that is benefiting from this is a company called BB Liquidating Incorporated. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is the over-the-counter traded ashes remains of the liquidation firm that helped liquidated Blockbuster Video. For 10 years, the stock was sitting out there with absolutely positively zero stock price, or 2 cents at most, since 2011. Well, today, that stock went from 2 cents to 11 cents.
which doesn't sound like much, but that's still a what? That's still a what? 300% increase or something?
400% increase, and with a stock that has not had any stock volume whatsoever in a decade. The last major
legit.
People are shaking out
last
people are shaking out their briefcases, going, "Shit! I can't believe I had that in my portfolio still."
So what happened is that they're looking specifically for BlackBerry, which has this ticker symbol BB. So when you type BB into whatever the stock program you use, Robinhood most likely, you get BlackBerry, and you also get BB Licensing Incorporated. And when you click on the BB Licensing Incorporated, what do you see? You see that it's Blockbuster Video in the description. You don't see any of the other words like liquidation or whatever. You see Blockbuster Video, and you're thinking, "Oh, I used to go there as a kid. I could put some money in and put some leftover money in here." Click. Because
Yes,
a lot
sure,
of this
why not?
because a lot of this is, what do I remember from my youth, or a nostalgia thing. So you get like, I used to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I could invest in that. I dealt with this. I had a BlackBerry. I should put money in the BlackBerry. Has that been shorted? Oh, yes, it has. Click.
Because again, this happens all the time.
But yeah, a lot of these companies are like, have direct connection. It's like, who's responsible for this because of the companies that are involved. Like, I mean, that GameStop is at the center of this, and that GameStop is that more people are saying the name GameStop or saying the word GameStop outside of the gaming community for the first time in, I don't know, 20 years since EB Games and Electronics Boutique became GameStop.
Indeed.
Like, it's like, who the people behind this are from the companies that are getting the skyrocket from.
It's like, where can I invest in NeoStar? I'd like to get some Babbages and software, etc. stock.
maybe some Sam Goody.
Oh yeah. Well, that's Best Buy.
the good
Now hold on a second. That's Best Buy. Best Buy bought
like,
Suncoast Motion Picture Company and Sam Goody's. So
okay,
that's a
maybe
whole
that's not the
different. That's a whole
one.
different evil empire.
Maybe maybe if it's still around, B. Dalton. Walden,
Crown Books.
Yeah. It's like
Real quality organizations. The kind of bookstores that used to build their shop in the invisible archway of the shopping mall next to the Ralphs in California.
Certainly, I don't know that exact thing, but I've certainly seen malls with stores that definitely were in places that you definitely did not go to that part of the mall on purpose because there was fucking nothing there.
Well, it just they put it in. They put it right next to the. Ralph's is basically what, Kroger now.
Yes. Yeah, Kroger, Publix, whatever the supermarket.
Yeah.
I think it's Albertsons.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I think it's
Yeah,
Kroger. Yeah, Ralph's is Kroger and Vaughn's is Albertsons. because
Mhm.
Vons was part of the Safeway family.
Yeah.
Anyway, not to get too far off track there used to be a Crown Book, and they had an archway, and they had a big sign on the outside, but you couldn't see the storefront at all because it was hidden inside a tiny archway at the bend in the building in this in this zigzagging strip mall when I was a kid. So they had the Ralphs right there, and then literally right next door by the vending machine, they had Crown Books, but you couldn't see it because it seemed shady.
Mhm.
Literally. Like they barely even had front window space because when you walk by it, it's like, oh shit, there's a bookstore here.
Mhm.
And that's how all of their locations crept up on you, except for the one in the mall.
Yeah. It's like, hey, maybe I can find some way to get Sears and Kmart out of the problems that they're having. Maybe, hey, is Transfer Co available? Oh no, it's private. Damn it. Maybe I can get enough stock to get Eddie Lampert out of the company.
I'm waiting until they try and short Apple and Google and shit like that.
Did someone click off the window here? There's now a double graphic
Hmm?
thingy.
Oh.
I'm looking at the Twitch.
Something reset on my computer. I'm just making sure. I can still hear you guys. So.
Okay. Okay, yeah, no, I just noticed that something was a little off.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, my graphics card resets, and that makes me nervous.
Yeah, this is, but yeah, just to show you how different completely things are right now. This is probably the big story right now.
I mean,
I mean,
it's
yeah,
a
maybe
significant financial thing.
Yeah, it's it's definitely taken a lot of the attention away from anything happening in Washington D.C.
I think I can kill the image now because it is duplicating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it looks like one of them is the actual image, and then the other one is like just a window overlapping into the image video capture
Yeah, it's weird.
rectangle thing. Says the guy who doesn't know how this works, so.
It shouldn't be a window capture. That's what's weird about it.
Mm.
What's that? OBS being weird? Never heard of that problem at all. I hope you could hear my eye roll with that one.
Indeed.
Yeah, you can hear it.
There it is.
Hmm.
Use an after image. For some reason, there was an after image stuck in this. I really need to stop using QuickTime for image viewing.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a Mac or on?
Oh no, it's the Windows version. There was a reason for it. I had to install QuickTime for because I have Adobe Suite CS6 on here.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah. Well,
I recognize some of those words.
Yeah, when you're broke poor like me, you don't have the option to have an indefinite CC subscription.
But it's the wave of the future.
Don't get me on the subscription bullshit.
I feel another tirade coming in.
Look, is it so much that I just want to get a goddamn version of anything, like any word processor or fucking spreadsheet or fucking PDF editing goddamn software that just fucking works and doesn't need to be motherfucking changed every fucking year? I don't need to keep paying you to put in updates to the software that make it worse.
The salt is delicious.
You know, in China they call it magic flavor. Oh, that's MSG. I'm sorry.
Morton's all over the place. Morton's salt all over the place.
Oh man, that was great. I like that. I'm in the chat over here. I'm in the chat over here going, "Buckle up, kids. Here it goes." That's fine. We need more action.
We need some content to kill a couple of minutes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, look, it's one of my supporters, Uncolaman. Welcome.
Oh, man, you're not supposed to say that. People notice and then disappear. We actually have Schrodinger's audience. They only exist as long as you don't let them know.
Yeah.
You're
Or
right.
the-
You're right in the middle, boss. You're right in the middle. This is something new for this channel, although we've been doing it on YouTube for a while. All right.
I hope this works.
So now that we've talked about hedge funds and selling short, a totally enthralling subject. Is there anything else going on here?
Like, plenty actually. It's just, it's not the world is on fire, so it's been less interesting, which means I can sleep at night.
Yeah, now we're back to the normalcy of the right wing pretending that nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're back to nothing ever happened. Let's move on. Why are we working to try to convict this man? Let's just move on and kick the ball. And unfortunately, that's what's going to happen.
That's not happening, and it's also not a good sign when the Republicans are arguing on the process of things. Like this is unconstitutional because former president and
you know
all
what's
that
really
stuff.
unconstitutional? Insurrection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
But of course,
they're not actually defending the bad orange man. They're trying to find excuses and
they're basically saying like, give him a break, leave him alone.
No,
He's just an old man.
Like,
no, it's
they
like
haven't really
he's
been
not
saying
president anymore. It's like he's not president anymore. Why are we going after him? If we're going after him,
let's not pretend to be naive about this. They're gearing up to weaponize this.
Oh yeah. But I'm not trying to suggest otherwise.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not suggesting otherwise at all. We know how these people play.
Yeah.
Although it does amuse me that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has decided to not oversee this trial, which is an option because it doesn't feature a sitting president on the grounds of, let me see here, don't wanna.
Adam.
No, actually,
Wait. Adam had a point.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Kevin was going to make it, but
okay.
The Constitution and the Senate rules say usually it's the
Senate Pro Tempore.
Yeah, who oversees, unless it's the president or the vice president the current one getting impeached. Since Trump is now the former president, it's Patrick Leahy who oversees things. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, anyway.
But that's why it's Patrick Leahy in the chair and not John Roberts in the chair.
Yeah.
Though I'm sure this situation is wiggly enough that Roberts could have done it if he wanted to.
No, I mean, if the Democrats decided, based upon the reading of the rules, that he should be on there, then they probably would have asked him. But the fact of the matter is that the rules are pretty clear.
Then sure, but they were not going to do that.
Right. If they found, the legal reasoning or basically the wording in the laws and whatever, then he would have been there. But the rules are pretty clear that
Republicans are being their usual disingenuous selves.
Yeah.
The Democrats here are being completely earnest. They plan on conducting an actual impeachment trial, no matter what the Republican response is going to be. It's like this is why the Republicans have been arguing process instead of merit, because it's gonna be. They're putting up the reason right now. They're telling you the reason why they're likely to acquit him. The first thing on the first day of the quote unquote trial, unquote, because technically the trial has begun.
It's
The
the
first
opening
day of the trial proceedings.
That's
proceedings.
yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah,
first thing they put out was that other guy from Kentucky put up that other guy from Kentucky, by the way, whose neighbor didn't do a good enough job.
You mean
Ouch,
Executive
dude.
Paul?
I gotta say it. I'll say it. He put up a motion to dismiss this trial because of the process arguments, and unfortunately, 45 Republicans, including Mitch, voted for it. Now it failed because it didn't get 60, but it got 45, and unfortunately, that's a bad sign to me. Because
I
if
feel
you're
like
not
it's not really a
this-
good idea to set a precedent that if you do a crime in your last few days of office and then you're out of office before you can be held accountable for it, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
I feel
well,
like that's this
Yeah.
may just be me being like a worrywart or something, but I feel like
Well,
that could be a slightly problematic precedent.
these
to
are
set.
definitely not Nixon era Republicans. They
no, we're
the-
far
they-
away from that.
they back then it was like 95% in favor of holding Nixon accountable,
Yes.
and that's why he resigned.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like
well,
see the problem.
there's a
The problem with the modern Republican Party is. Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
there's a reason for this, and that's because they're afraid, of the Orange Man and his voting
Still.
base.
Still, yep.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, the Republican Party of 2021 is not the Republican Party of, at this point, even the Reagan era
Well,
anymore.
I mean,
as I've warned on Twitter, as I've warned before on Twitter, you know, even Gotti still had a voice from prison.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even mobsters somehow managed to get word to the outside from prison. So don't assume that any conviction or any other action against Trump that takes him out of the political eye,
I can tell you this.
Oh.
I could
is
point
going
to
to keep
you.
him from his base.
Right, I could point to you a specific fact that prison doesn't
I
necessarily
will tell you
mean
that- I will tell
you're
you
politically irrelevant.
Yeah, I will tell you that the biggest thing has already happened, and that's him being banned from social media. Like,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
it's like he's lost so much political power with that maneuver.
Oh no! I wouldn't say that. Now
I
maybe
would absolutely fucking say that.
I'm on the Republican base. I'm not so sure about that because the polling suggests.
I'm not talking about the Republican base.
Well, outside of the Republican base, yes, but unfortunately, if he still has power with the Republican base, that means he still has somewhat of power. Not as much as he has as being president of the United States.
I mean, he
Yes.
just has to keep calling Fox News. I mean, he
Yeah,
still has a telephone. It's like whatever service he was using, whether it was AT&T or whatever. Hey, we should bomb that stock.
The question of
Whoever's
of
his
how
phone
much-
service provider, we should bomb that stock.
The question of how much power he still has is kind of up for grabs.
Yeah,
Because, look,
we're gonna find out this year and next.
it's also, the Republican Party is going to go through some transmogrifications, let's say.
Well, actually, I could actually tell you that we know somewhat that he still has power with the Republican Party already. And I point to you to the state of Arizona.
Oh God!
Where yes, because his preferred state chairwoman, chemtrail Kelly Ward, got reelected as the head of the AZGOP. And immediately after that, they decided to censure Cindy McCain, Jeff Flake, and the current sitting governor, who probably is not going to run for Senate in 2022 because of this. Even though, for the fact of the matter is that Doug Ducey could possibly give Mark Kelly a run for his money. But that's probably not going to happen now because, the Republican Party is, well, what it is.
Self-destructing,
Yes.
imploding.
I mean, that's actually the bigger question that the Republican Party is facing, and I don't think they know they're facing it. It's like they could be imploding in front of our very eyes because you know,
No, I don't think it's implosion. I think it's mutation into something very sinister.
possibly, but let me finish here because
You're falling away from your mic again.
yeah, like the thing of it is, and we've already seen this in Georgia, is that Trump's the draw, not the not the disciples, not the acolytes, not the because Trump betrayed the fundamental rule of the Republican Party. You put the party above everyone else.
Did he
Trump,
put the party over everyone else, or did he put himself?
No, he put himself. Normally,
put him-
Republicans put the party over everything.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what I thought you were saying. Okay.
And now we get into the inherent problem of that because the Trump base is the Trump base. This is what happens when you build the cult of personalities around that personality. It's not around everyone else. So
Yeah,
it's
literally everyone else who's tried to jump on his coattails has failed.
yes,
In laughable fashion.
His particular brand of charisma doesn't transfer very well.
No,
I
well,
mean-
because it's rooted in narcissism.
Mhm.
Well, I mean,
You have to have
well,
that
it's
much.
like
You have to have
for
that
some
much self-love to be successful.
and
the thing of it is that for some of them, they've tried to be like and act like Trump, but at the same time, they've done normal Republican things and tried to hold up the Republican brand,
Look,
and that's the problem.
I'm going to put
The
it.
people who have not.
Look, I'm going to put this into Star Trek terms for all the nerds out there. Okay, don't try to come at Gul Dukat with your Kai Wynn.
oh god,
You will
I don't know
lose.
what okay, here's my level of Star Trek knowledge. I don't know what a Kai Wynn is, but I wouldn't come at Gul Dukat with an anything.
The point is that there was an argument going on that somehow Gul Dukat and Kai Wynn were on the same level, and I said she got played because Gul Dukat was a master, and Trump is Gul Dukat.
yeah, it's
He's so emphatically in love with himself that he couldn't possibly see defeat. He can't possibly see any other path than his own perfection. He can't see redemption.
Which is why he's been in such deep denial for the last since the election.
He doesn't need redemption. He's perfect. It's all these other people who are wrong. It's all these other people who have failed him.
And apparently, it's not just him that was in denial because Mike Pence is apparently couch jumping.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
I am
As I
very
said
okay
on
with
this
this.
morning, I didn't think I'd ever encounter a homeless situation I was perfectly fine with. Yet here we are.
This guy was a former congressperson, a former talk radio host, a former governor, and a former vice president. How on God's green earth, even if you didn't expect to win, even if you expected not to lose, how in God's green earth do you not have a house or even an apartment ready to go just in case, or even as a vacation home?
Mhm.
Like, at least yeah.
I
He was a little
sold
overeager about
I sold all my assets and I expected to move into Trump Tower.
Maybe he did. Of course, he probably won't go to Trump Tower ever again, but it's like...
Yeah, insurrection has a way of doing that to a person.
Or hatred of New York City.
Yeah. Or New York City hating you.
Yeah, I like that one better.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Both. It's both.
Little from A, little from B.
But it's like... But yeah, everybody was in denial, and that's why we got what we got on 1/6. Because a lot of people were in denial, and that denial went into outright antagonism.
Though, if you want a case study in the failure to imitate Trump, I think you don't need to look any further than Josh Hawley or Haley.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
I mean,
Can I not
further than
look at
Josh
him?
Hawley?
Would that be okay if I didn't look
Yeah.
at him?
God damn it, Mac! I was making that joke.
But I mean,
Can I expel him from my state?
Well, and then of course
I mean, you can send it to
Kevin's
Indiana.
Kevin's favorite politician is being put up for the 14th Amendment. She's being put up for the 14th Amendment. Hold on, I got a little glitchiness.
I mean, for good reason.
If I could go down, yeah. Now, if I could break, because I'm from the 14th district, so allow me to explain why she is where she is. If you look at a map of the congressional districts, the district that she's in and I live in is a mix of people like myself from the outermost edges of the Atlanta metropolitan area, mixed in with, I'll just go ahead and say it, stupid rednecks from the Alabama and Tennessee border areas and rural areas of the district.
Mm.
And unfortunately, those latter individuals have the power of this district, and she fits them to a T, because that's what she is. She is a stupid, dumb, easily manipulatable, easily gullible redneck,
Possibly inbred.
if that helps you.
Yeah.
But yes, that's what she is. She is easily manipulatable, gullible, and she feeds the other easily manipulatable and gullible people of this district.
As the British used to say, there's only so much shite you can shove into a silk stocking.
Oh, here it's limitless.
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying
Eastern...
before it becomes redundant.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I live at the
and it
easternmost
starts
part.
leaking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the easternmost part, so I'm at probably the bluest part of the district, thankfully. Thank God.
Yeah.
But you go to the west, you go to the north, the amount of bullshit that is able to be accepted, believed, embraced, goes to the ceiling, to the sky, even to deep space.
to the window and to the wall.
Yeah.
Isn't that one of the areas that had a fucking
It raised the roof and broke the
effigy
wall.
of Obama on fire?
It's just, and
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that we had the Democrat that tried to run against her was not prepared for her, and also had some issues at home, but that's another story.
Mm.
The fact of the matter is that even with that, 75,000 people in this district voted for that Democrat. So there are people in this district that don't buy this garbage, and I hope people understand that, and understand that we are outnumbered and unfortunately outclassed by the dumb and the stupid.
Well, that's a huge problem throughout the South, and in
Yes.
fact throughout the country. The whole red state, blue state thing is a really problematic way of looking at it, because
because there are
biggest majorities one way or the other. It's still like within the realm of 60-40, 70-30.
Yeah, I mean there are
Probably
there
closer
are
to 60-40.
Yeah, there are liberals and Democrats in red states, and there are conservatives and idiots in blue states.
Well, and also importantly, throughout the South, a lot of the minority and other potentially Democratic voters are disenfranchised, be it for life through having had a felony charge at some point, or through not being able to procure the right amount of ID. Or...
Hi, how you doing?
And while both sides do gerrymandering, it seems that the Republicans have been rather more aggressive and successful about it.
Historically, Democratic gerrymandering has never been utterly insane. They've always put it within the realm of feasibility. You know, plausible deniability. As far as how it is, they don't have a district that literally follows, two crisscrossing highways and has clusters at the end that, looks like a certain former a certain World War II German symbol that we won't mention.
or basically gerrymandering that, you can see is blatantly, Although I will tell you this. In the blue states that still have partisan gerrymandering, there are some blue states that have gone to an independent commission system. But in the blue states that still have partisan gerrymandering, I hope to God that Democrats start to play ball here. Because if Republicans are going to play ball, we have to play ball now.
You know, luckily in Arizona, our populations are so sparse that, and the state is so rectangular that it's very difficult for them to make gerrymandered districts like that. I mean, yeah, we've isolated all the libs down in the bottom third of the state along with me, but
Yeah, but it's like if Democrats have gerrymandering control themselves, stop playing nice now, because Republicans don't play nice. You shouldn't either with this specifically.
well, I'm glad that Schumer held to his guns and didn't let McConnell hold the process hostage over the filibuster. Granted,
Yeah.
it was a non-starter to eliminate the filibuster anyway, as long as Manchin and Sinema exist.
Now, because that was the big story before Wall Street started to go nuts.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that was that it wasn't even like they'd saying they're going to do anything with the filibuster, but
Yes.
McConnell wanted him to agree in advance to not do anything with it.
Which I think would have been called a contract and coercion anyway. So
something along the lines of
brutal
that,
honesty,
yes.
it wouldn't have held up in court.
Now, what this was all about, and let's be very clear about what this was all about, because people apparently thought that this was about the life and death of the filibuster. It was not.
Mm-hmm.
What this fight was about, and a fight that actually dates back to, I think, either Inauguration Day or the week before.
It was about the life and death of the filibuster as a bargaining tool.
No. Actually, what this was about was Mitch McConnell and the Republicans wanted to force Chuck Schumer to enshrine the 60-vote filibuster threshold into the operating agreement to basically regulate a 50-50 evenly split Senate, which is what we have, which is something that we have not had since 2000-2001.
Mm-hmm. Hello. Is Discord being dumb?
Which is basically
I think
every committee has the same number of Republicans and Democrats.
Hold on a second. You're going to need to back up and start that tirade over again because Discord disconnected audio for a minute.
Okay.
So this dates back to 2001, and that's the last thing I believe the stream heard.
Okay. The last time we had a 50-50 Senate was 2000-2001, and the Democrats and Chuck Schumer wanted to simply renew that agreement that was in use then, now, with no further big changes.
The situation is the same.
Right, exactly.
Except with the sides reversed. But of course, now that they're on this side of it, McConnell doesn't like that.
Right, and FYI, that, by the way, is the same number of Republicans and Democrats on each committee, with the Democrats, in this case, being the chairmen or chairwomen, and also Vice President Harris breaking ties and everything else, and Schumer being majority leader.
And relevantly, in a tie in a committee.
And I was about to say, in a tie vote in these committees, it would be essentially the same as a majority vote in favor that would send it straight to the Senate floor.
Mm-hmm.
So what Republicans wanted to do was to add the 60-vote threshold, and the Democrats were against that. Manchin and Sinema were also against that principle. They are opposed to destroying the filibuster, but were also opposed to putting the filibuster into this operating agreement. And what this whole fight was about was Mitch McConnell stupidly thinking and Republicans stupidly believing that Manchin and Sinema were somehow going to flip for some odd reason, for nothing. When that's not the case at all. And it's also not just them.
Which is why McConnell backed down, was because he realized his error.
Well, actually, more specifically, Manchin and Sinema went to Politico and did interviews with them within a couple hours of each other and said, we're against the filibuster, Mitch. Do we need to say anything more specific than that? Because, and again, it's not just them that's against the filibuster being taken down. It's other Democrats, too, because they know very well that if we take down the filibuster, Republicans are going to go nuts with it. And they won't bring it back. So it's like, so basically, that's what this whole fight was about. And yet, for some people on Twitter, including people who should know better, this fight apparently to them was, oh my God, we should get rid of the filibuster. Why won't you do it? That's not what this fight was about from jump. This was a fight that was protracted from prior to January 20th about Republicans wanting to enshrine something in an operating agreement that the Democrats were absolutely opposed to them doing, including the Mansion and Cinema crowd.
I'm sorry, is somebody snoring?
Not me.
Not me.
I might
But-
have been snuffling a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everybody's health is fine here. I
Yeah,
was sick for 2 days with some kind of stomach bug, and
Yeah.
now I'm fine. But I was just like, I heard. And remember how Ogre used to fall asleep on the show?
Yeah.
I'm like with Kevin's incendiary rhetoric. I don't see how anybody could fall asleep during this broadcast, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what that fight was about. And the Democrats did hold. Now we're still waiting for whenever the operating agreement apparently is going to come up. But today we saw, Manchin leading the Energy Committee and John Tester leading the, if I recall correctly, it was either the Veterans Affairs Committee.
It's going to be interesting
So-
seeing Sanders in control of the Budgetary Committee.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, we're starting to see Democrats starting to chair these things, and I'm guessing we should soon be seeing that operating agreement on the floor to be passed.
Mm.
So, and the question really is that if the 60 vote threshold is not in that text, it is not a cave by the Democrats.
Right.
It is only a cave if you bought into the stupid belief that this fight was about the filibuster, and it was not.
Right.
Or if you're thinking about things that happen down the road, like, them not being able to do a Voting Rights Act or whatever because of this, and that was not at part at all of this discussion at any point. So, a lot of people who should know better, not just the usual suspects on both the right and the left, but people who should know better thought Democrats caved when they didn't.
I mean, in fairness, we were used to that reaction, 2008.
Yeah. And it's
But
like,
This maintains removing the filibuster later as a
yes.
potential. They probably still won't actually do it,
They-
but they can at least get concessions for threatening to do it.
yes, exactly. And, if Republicans still do the same playbook of obstruction, it is not going to be tolerated. I don't think.
Yeah. Then they'll use it. Then they'll use it as a cudgel in order to finally remove it. If they, more specifically, if the Republicans use obstructionism as a cudgel, then the Democrats are going to go nuclear.
Essentially, yes. This keeps that option open. But again, we use the word option for a reason. And I think everybody's first interest and first instinct is to try to see if there can be bipartisan agreement on some of these issues.
Which is remotely
Maybe
possible. Well, it's remotely possible because Biden is president. If any other
Yes.
Democrat had somehow managed to defeat Trump in this election, there'd probably be a lot more animosity there.
Yeah, it's like, and again, the reason why Manchin and Cinema are as hard as they are is because they are part of a working group
Mm-hmm.
of, I think, 16 Republicans and Democrats, 8 each. So there is a bipartisan working group here that is, at least at right now, trying to be encouraged, which is why you're seeing all of this hard antagonism towards the talk of filibuster being nuked or whatever. Now, if that doesn't come up with anything, then things are going to change relatively quickly here, because I do not think obstruction and intransigence is going to be tolerated in this current environment. And anybody that believes that that's the case doesn't seem to understand at all the situation.
Right.
And it's like, people are going like, but Biden's talking about unity and everything else. Well, there's a line.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
unity has to go both ways in order to work.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that a lot of certain people in politics, particularly, hear the word unity and they think that means that means you're going to do stuff my way.
They think it's synonymous with capitulation, and that is not the word.
no, and everybody agrees with that, and that's why you're seeing talk of reconciliation being used for coronavirus relief right now. Because, yeah, we're going to give you like a month and a half, but if nothing is done, in fact, by March, we're going to have to do something, put the pedal to the metal here.
Yep. It's like, look, guys, you want to reopen the economy. We need to get the vaccines out. We need to get these relief checks to people. We need to keep these moratoriums in place on evictions so that way people can get back on their feet, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, and like people right now should not be making any judgments on the Democrats in the Senate or Biden or whatever because it's only been a week.
It literally just got started.
The cabinet is still being filled. And Biden has not given his first State of the Union yet.
Yep.
After that's done next month, that's when things are going to start getting in a high gear. But you have to have the cabinet first, and you got to have that SOTU first.
I've always had.
What?
What's
that?
First presidential State of the Union is always the month after. Is always the February after they're inaugurated. Otherwise, who's going to deliver it? Trump? I lost you guys again.
No, this is getting.
I couldn't hear you guys. Sorry. I said. Did you guys hear what I said?
No.
Okay. I said that the State of the Union is delivered by the current sitting president, even though it's only a month into it. So the State of the Union will go on as prescribed in the Constitution in February. However, it will be Joe Biden delivering it, and.
What I meant was the first joint address, whether it's State of the Union or whatever. It's going to be a joint address next month.
Right.
So it's like once that's given, where he's going to basically lay everything out in pretty much more detail with probably some special guests and whatever, then things are going to get in high gear. So I would advise everybody, patience is a virtue here, even though it's not a popular virtue. This is just getting started, and we have a different government here. But
well,
it's like we're still in like the feeling out, basically how are we going to handle the next at least 2 years.
Right. Now we come to the part of the show where I rant about leftist Twitter jagoffs because they goalposts.
All right, here we go. Buckle up, kids.
I kind of took some of that from you, but go ahead.
Well, it's because like fucking Susan Sarandon and some other performative Twitter lefties already, they're starting to shriek about the fucking minimum wage because they're like all of a sudden they're 15 was barely enough in 2012. It should be the fight for 25. And I'm like, motherfuck. We haven't even gotten the $15 per hour thing yet.
We haven't even got 10.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to be technical about it, it's still $7.25 an hour, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Arizona like me, and then you got 12.
Besides
he says as he sips his soda.
The problem here is you're fucking shifting the goalposts when you haven't scored the touchdown yet.
Yeah,
like
they're shifting the goalpost away from themselves, making the game harder.
It's like, goddamn,
There were still
15.
It's like Fight for 15 is the name of the organization that had events during the presidential campaign cycle last year. Now all of a sudden it's like, 15 isn't enough. It's like, oh, you're only saying that because it's Biden.
I mean, is it unusual?
Maybe it's because you're saying it because of apparently the bill that's out there. And I think this is what this is about.
Is it odd?
Is that the bill?
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's like is that the bill apparently that was introduced says that it's $15 an hour as of 2025.
Right.
I think that's the thing that they're all upset about, and it's like, look, it's like this thing requires time here because we have an economic situation that requires us to keep things propped up in order for things to be built back, and it's going to take time for a lot of businesses to be at a place where 15 can be good.
And also see what can be salvaged.
It's also support. Like, goddamn, I do not want these fucking idiots torpedoing the Fight for 15 initiative because it isn't enough for them, or it's because the centrists are actually delivering on progressive promises, or whatever the fuck the motivation is. It's like it's like, no, this fight is not goddamn done, and you're already fucking moving on to other shit. When it's not fucking secure, we're not there. Like, and no, we're not getting 25 by 2025. Like,
No.
It's so many things that irritate me about this particular side of our party, because
it's a childish want to have everything now.
And more importantly, this is actually accurate to say that the economy cannot support a 3,000% increase in wages across the board. Not yet. We're not there yet.
Mention, the argument about $15 not being a livable wage is a lot less salient because of location.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of places, you could live like a king on $15 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of places,
Arizona, I could live like a king on $12 an hour.
Yeah. The point of order is that argument may work for, say, New York City or LA. Like, major metropolitan centers. There's an argument ahead. Like fucking West Virginia, $15 should be more than enough. So, and goddamn, I do not want this fucking rallying cry destroying the chance to make actual fucking progress, because it's not enough progress for some shitheads.
Yeah.
I think on this note, since we're running past the hour here, let's do our 10 minutes of entertainment news.
Okay.
Tempers are running high.
Yeah, I like, and there were other things that we haven't even got. We didn't even get to Biden stuff this week.
Yeah,
that's sometimes that's okay. I'm sure that something will happen in the week. We're like last week tonight.
Well,
I mean that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think we should spend next week dealing. I think we should spend next week dealing with
less entertainment news and more sports news this week. Because
cries deeply.
Yeah, because we had the NFL playoffs. And
Fuck you, Tom Brady.
It's like he can't even catch a break going to another team.
No, he caught a fucking break.
He's going to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah.
I meant with the fans.
This is especially important because he's helming my local team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And
good luck.
Yeah, that's right. Adam's from Tampa, folks.
Yeah.
Like, so
Adam is our very own Florida man.
Always has been.
Yeah. But
Brady Mania is running wild, brother.
Yeah, because this is his fucking 10th Super Bowl. Like, in the past 20 years?
Yeah.
10 Super Bowls.
And
he's going for, I think he's going for a 7th ring. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7th ring. But yeah, this is very specifically. This is the first time that a quarterback has taken his team to a Super Bowl that is being hosted in their own stadium.
Yep.
Never before happened. The Super Bowl has been played in 25 different stadiums. This is the first time it's a literal home game.
Yeah, so
My team came closest, but the Vikings came closest before they were blown up by the Eagles.
When did you live in Minnesota?
Half of my family's from Minnesota.
Okay.
My grandma's from Minnesota, my aunts, uncles, etc. Basically, my family is half in Minnesota, half down here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so... But yeah, I basically have Minnesota blood in me because my parents were from Minnesota. So, but yeah, Vikings were the closest before this. They got blown out of the NFC Championship game. This is the first time,
right, and
that's what's made this unbearable. But hey, at least it's going to be a good game because you have two quality teams. So
the other team that they are going to be fighting is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Honestly, as a Patriots fan, or regional Patriots fan, I'm not super up on it, but it's the home team, and I live in New England, and I think there's a law or something. I am not actually like a super fan of Brady as a person or anything, but I guess I'll acknowledge that he's still a fine footballer even without Belichick.
I mean,
we're gonna have to do the Madden thing.
If he wins this Super Bowl, he's probably in the greatest of all time. Not just like footballers or anything. Like, he's
sports players.
Jordan,
He's also notably one of the oldest people to lead a team.
I mean, that's part of the conversation right there. He's 43 years old.
Yeah.
And he's going to the fucking Super Bowl. Like, and if he wins it, yeah, he's probably getting cemented as the best football guy of all time. Not just quarterback, but, just
player, period. Yep. And it's going to be unbearable to listen to.
No.
We may have to Skip Bayless in the fucking teeth a few times.
Tom Brady is the best quarterback in football. I mean, if you cut off both his arms and both his legs, he'd still be the best torso in football.
I mean, it's especially grating because he's a fucking Trumper.
That's what I mean by not being a particularly big fan of him as a person. He's politically conservative.
I guess the only good thing is that Biden's president, so he doesn't get the luxury of getting to show off a ring in front of Trump again.
I have a feeling that he might actually be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened when Belichick was offered the Medal of Freedom. He's like,
Pass.
Well, they have the additional thing of getting it from someone who's from fucking New York.
Well, they also don't want to be sitting on a pedestal next to Rush Limbaugh.
That too, yeah. So, I've been of the opinion that it would not be necessarily a bad idea after the fuck that Orange Man did to it to make a new highest civilian honor.
Call it the 2.0. Change the color order of the ribbon,
The Congressional Medal of
something.
What the fuckery?
of not being particularly approved of by the fucking Orange Man.
Wow.
Congressional Medal of Civilian Honor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I suppose the big
civilian
loser for this year's Super Bowl is people who actually tune in to watch the Super Bowl commercial. Because companies are scaling back.
I wonder why.
Both soda companies. Yeah, both soda companies have scaled back. Pepsi's only doing the halftime show, and that's it.
Yeah.
Budweiser scaled back.
Like Coke, Pepsi, and Budweiser are all not airing a Super Bowl ad. Like
actually, there's another big loser too.
Yes.
What's that?
Extremely elusive club of people who have been to every Super Bowl.
Yeah, that too.
I'm like,
because you can't go to a Super Bowl if there won't be any actual fans at the Super Bowl.
Well, there will be some fans, but they're basically
there will be
fans.
very minimal fans at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Budweiser's pulled out for the first time in 37 years. They are going to be showboating their other, brands inside of their umbrella, but not Budweiser itself. Coke's not advertising. Pepsi's only doing their halftime show, and that's it. Which I guess is a Pepsi ad all in itself. But
You could argue it's the
yeah, that's
biggest.
it. Yeah, you can argue that, but
I mean, it's been a while since they've had the whole friggin' short film of ads, one in each quarter or something for most companies. But
yeah, it's like most of the people who are advertising this year are basically the companies that are pandemic companies, essentially.
I mean, I'm kind of of the opinion that this entire sports season doesn't actually fucking count. But we'll see.
Well, it counts, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL is going to be happy as a clam that they actually made it to a damn Super Bowl. And I mean, it's a damn
They're
miracle that
probably
they
going
made
to
one.
get very high ratings given
Oh,
who's playing.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have a good game, I think. So that's gonna help. And you're gonna have people watching to hopefully see Brady lose or just to see two good teams play. Which, yeah. I mean, it's not like there's gonna be anything else to watch. So,
Yeah.
which is why the Super Bowl gets that bigger rating. So yeah. Yeah. And I think we should wrap it up for the week here.
Yeah. So let me get to the matters that my fans who have just tuned in may be interested in. So I missed my stream Monday, but Twilight Winter joined us for APB in the evening. And I think we produced some pretty good numbers there, so we're hoping to do that again. So we definitely want everybody to tune in for APB on Monday and Saturday. We will have different players with us on Saturday on a rotating basis, either Radic or Lexa or both. So I was very excited about that because that's fulfilling a promise, a long-held promise that I've had to the fans to be more inclusive with my friends and neighbors here at Fragments of Silicon, to bring them back into the fold ever since the fall of MSP. We have been talking in depth about bringing MSP back. I had done, Varias and I have done a preview show where we did 3 episodes of MSP Redo, as they say in France.
Because
And
it would be pronounced that way in French, wouldn't it?
yeah, well, you don't say redux unless you're, a neo-Luddite or something.
Yeah.
Luddite.
So we were in talks about that. That will be a morning thing if that happens, because we want to be able to capture guests from across the pond, as they say. And so that I've also started playing Fortnite, which
Oh God.
which I'm much more proficient at than APB, even though it uses virtually identical control scheme. I don't know if it's the cloying cartooniness of it or something, or the
14-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah, some dipshit popped up out of the sand and was shooting at me.
I recall something about Fortnite having a pretty, I don't want to say sophisticated, but pretty significant skill level matchmaking system.
Yes. Well, I went into free-for-all, and the first person that attacked me got greased by me. I was very enamored by the fact that I was standing on sand and my character automatically jumped into the sand when I was getting shot at. So it's basically...
You got one up on me because you didn't even consider getting a gun a significant achievement.
Well, I had 7 of them at my disposal after raiding the arena that nobody was in.
Yeah, this is a Gollix can't fucking find his own goddamn ass in first-person games.
Well, this isn't first-person. This is TPS. This is
third
right,
person. Yeah. Fortnite is third person, isn't
Yep.
it? Sorry, I've never actually played Fortnite.
But we're also considering Paladins because it's a little more varied and you have a little more control over your character.
Also, brand synergy.
Yeah. So we're looking at some new games to add to the repertoire, because even though my channel is called Mac Paladin's Retro Gaming Emporium and I do play retro games, they're not terribly popular. So I do need to bring something in to bolster it. I bring in the numbers, sell out, get that affiliate, grab the brass ring, all that good stuff. Which is
when in
Sorry,
doubt,
I'd totally attend more of your streams if I woke up earlier and didn't have a job.
yeah. Just so everybody knows, I do stream mobile games at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you have any interest in seeing that kind of thing, be sure to tune in, of course. And then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we rotate between MMORPGs and TPS games. And like I said, we added Mondays, and if I do add Fortnite, I'll have to add it on a different night, preferably on a night where I'm having a week early afternoon stream. Such as my Legend of Zelda streams, which garnered 0.6 viewers last time.
Sorry.
How did you saw somebody in more than half?
I know, right? Well, the miter was set uneven, so...
Oh, God.
Anyway. But the big news is that we finally started launching episodes of The Lavenders on YouTube. We got most of the voice acting in place. Varias and I are still adding in a lot of the tertiary roles that are just, kind of throwaway stuff. And of course, I do play the villain, so I have to record some additional dialogue for that. But yeah, we just launched episode 2 of that, which is technically the first episode of season 1, but let's not get bogged down in the details there. And it's called The Beginning, and it's up on our YouTube channel. If you're curious about that, I'll definitely put a link up here. I believe it is youtube.com. I'm an old man, so I like doing this. There, I think that's my channel. Somebody click on that and verify that's my channel.
End up getting rickrolled.
There is actually a link in the about section of this very page, so it's not really necessary for me to manually put that in the chat. But
Yes, that is the one. I can tell from the ship that looks like a friggin' lightsaber in the head bar.
Well, at least you didn't say it looks like a penis, so I thank you very much for that, because we used to have some pretty obscene jokes about the shape of the ship.
It has always been my official opinion that the ship looks like a lightsaber.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That's a very kind description of the Moonhawk's design. I've heard it called the shark, the dildo with clit stimulator, the
Like that one.
oh boy.
the baseball bat. Yeah. It's actually a pretty decent design when you see it in 3D, but when I hand illustrate it,
Yeah, spaceships are hard.
yeah, spaceships are hard. I have some more interesting. Well, actually, the hunter is the. You know what? I'm getting off on a tangent here. Anyway, but yeah, check out the Lavenders on our YouTube page. We will have the replay of this broadcast on YouTube. That's where it's going to go from now on. So we'll have the live broadcast here at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, as it says on the ticker. And the replay will be there momentarily. I just have to export it as soon as we stop streaming. So, until next week, I'm your host, Mac Paladin, on behalf of the crew at Last News Desk on the Left. Thanks for coming over. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, kids.
Stay safe, wear a mask.